episode of RXP Podcast, where three working professionals come together to talk about the things that they love, including video games, movies, TV shows, books, who knows? It's Tiffany, and I'm hosting today's episode about Fantasy Critic, and I have my two co-hosts with me, Alex.
Hello.
And Matt.
What's going on?
Guys, we have a recap of our fun Fantasy Critic League game that we did last year. For those of you who are unaware, there's this really cool game that's similar to like fantasy football or other fantasy sports games called fantasycritic.games. So that's the name of the website, fantasycritic.games. And you can make a league with your friends and basically act as a video game publisher and draft games, and you earn points based on how well they review on opencritic.com. So this is going to be actually the third year that we're participating in this league again. So this episode is kind of focused on wrapping up how we ended last year and then talking about where we're moving forward with this year. Now, I have some exciting news. There was a disruption. So the very first time we played this with the crew, Alex won. Well, not anymore. Your 2022 RXP Podcast Fantasy Critic League champion is me, Tiffany, and I am thrilled about it. Thank you. Golf clap for me. So, it was kind of actually pretty close to race. I won with 168.8 points. Alex was second with 162.2, and Matt trailed in with 113.1. Now, honestly, I think my biggest strategy for last year was picking games that were actually coming out and picked some games that I thought some people would just review well. And that really worked out for me. Some highlights include I picked up Marvel Snap, which gave me a bunch of points. Live Alive.
That's a good pickup.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Escape Academy. Yeah, just enough. I got enough games to kind of give me some points. Yeah.
That's
what about
pretty
you
good
guys?
Second half, honestly.
Yeah, considering how we drafted earlier, you guys can listen to an episode from earlier last year to hear about how we drafted their games. But do you guys want to shout out any of your team players?
Shout out to Elden Ring, the only bright spot of my crew. Sorry. From Software, Miyazaki, I know you listen to the podcast, and I failed you. You gave me 30 points, and what did I do? I barely tripled it. And there's nothing else to say. Everybody else in my league, I hate you. Except some of you I drafted again. So we'll get to that.
Okay.
Well, Matt, how can you say that when one of your top 6 games of last year is in those games that you drafted?
Oh, was it really?
Yes.
I don't remember. I don't even. Oh, Sifu respectable. I had a really good first half of the year. The problem with me is that I counterpicked 2 games that gave 12 points and 14 points to my competitors, and so I got minus those. Marvel's Midnight Suns I didn't think was going to come out. It turned out to be Tiffany's favorite game of last year. Yeah. So that obviously did not work out for me. And then Cult of the Lamb I never even heard of, and I'm like, well, I guess I'll go with this. And, that didn't work out either. It was minus 14. So, yeah, I think the lesson I learned this year, and we'll get to it, which this year was just as hard as both of them just witnessed, is picking a counter pick that is not going to cost me double digits, and we'll see if I'm successful.
Yeah, so I think I was in a similar boat to Matt, where we started off, at Redline Entertainment. We started off strong. A lot of my initial draft picks gave me a decent, at least double-digit points. And then we petered off into the back half of the year, where a lot of things which I thought would be big end up just being kind of middling. Stuff like Salt and Sacrifice, even Modern Warfare 2. You'd think that a Call of Duty would score well, but just a near 75 points there. And really the biggest disappointment, mostly because I played it and I too agree with this score so much, is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Just like it settling in at a 72.2 on OpenCritic is such a perfect score for it, because I feel like that's exactly what that game was. For better or for worse, right? Like it's a game that I think did a lot for the series, but ended up just not getting quite there. And I heard that there are Game Freak is planning on releasing patches for the game. There is one scheduled for next month in February. Obviously, it will not get me to go back to the game, sorry to say, but in case you're listening, Game Freak or Nintendo, but hopefully it does fix the game for the people still playing it and they can enjoy it more. And yeah, everything else was just kind of not quite there. So really, I think a lot of these average scores is what caused me to, pull into second place.
Yeah, I got the better Pokemon game. I picked up Pokemon Legends Arceus.
That is true. That's true.
That got me double-digit points there. And did you see that Call of Duty only got you 75? Because I'm seeing that it gave you 80 points, or rather, it was scored 80.
That's for Warzone.
Oh,
so
okay.
The Battle Royale got me 80, but Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 proper, right up there, below a bunch of 80-some scores. I only got 75.
Oh, I see it now. Sorry. I didn't realize that there were so many Call of Duties.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely took advantage, and that was my thought process on drafting both of them, because I thought I could split the difference there when I saw them on there separately eligible for draft. So I decided, why not invest?
Yep. And we also won't talk about for long how Matt decided not to fill out his team.
Oh,
there
that's
was
true.
one,
That's true.
One spot left for him, but who knows? I mean, that could have also just hurt.
My fall was a little bit the last thing on my mind. Not saying it's not important. True. I'm not trying to take away from this episode, but I definitely was not thinking about this. And then I think we were talking about this even towards the end of last year, and I think I texted in our group chat like, "Hey, do I even have like a full roster?" And someone said yes, and I was like, "Oh, well, that's cool." Like I did not even log in.
What? Oh, dang! I mean, I wasn't trying to.
Let's be clear, though.
Lowball you
let's
or
be
anything.
clear.
Yeah.
Like I would have had to have Elden Ring again twice to catch up. So like it's not. This is. I would have been third place. It might have just been a little bit more respectable than what it was.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
Just for clarity of the record, I want to say I don't think there was any sabotage.
Yeah.
Matt is recounting his side of the story, but I don't think there was any deliberate misleading for the sake of the Fantasy Critic outcome. So
don't get me wrong, Alex. I'm not blaming anybody. All I'm saying is a question was asked and an answer was given. That's it.
Okay. All right.
Okay. But yeah, so fantasycritic.games, thank you so much for coming out with this game. It's really fun. I'll actually put a link down below to follow our league. You guys, I think people can follow our league if you guys want to make your own. It's really cool. Mm-hmm. So I'll definitely post a link down below for you guys to follow along. But we've made our new league and we drafted our games and counterpicked one. One thing that's a little bit different for our league this year is that last year we counterpicked the 2 games immediately right after our draft. This year we decided that we will only counterpick one game at this moment, mm-hmm. and then we'll counterpick one later sometime in the year. Now, we are encouraged to counterpick another game because if you leave that blank, you'll get negative 15 points automatically. So that's just something to keep in mind. But otherwise, let's go through our team and a little bit of intro thoughts, I guess, on it. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Who is... Oh, okay. Cool.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so, Redline Entertainment, we did our best last year, but second place doesn't cut it. So they were killed off. And they have been reborn as Chic Games. So this year, representing Chic Games. Mm-hmm. And in terms of this, we came out strong with the hardest hitters that, we won't be getting 70s. Like the goal of this year's draft, especially in the first 9 pickup, was not to get 70s. So just to quickly go over, I picked up Marvel Spider-Man 2. This is guaranteed 90 plus. People love No Way Home. People love the first Spider-Man. People love Miles Morales. Like, there's a Spider-Man fervor in the air. We're getting Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse part 1 this year. Like, people love Spider-Man. And so in that case, I'm riding the high. I'm believing in it. It's going to come out. I know during the draft, Matt made some comments thinking maybe it doesn't come out this year. And I told Matt, you know what? Someone at Insomniac told me it's coming out this year. I believe it's coming out this year.
Okay.
Listen, no. That was all Tiffany. I
That's true.
never doubt
Alex.
Insomniac games, because Insomniac, I don't know if they sleep or what, but they like pump out some games. It's crazy.
Matt, it's in their
crazy.
name. It's on Insomniac Games. So
You know what? Did not put that together. That is a great point.
And I'm hoping I have Insomnia because I just want to keep playing Spider-Man 2 when it comes out. That's the goal.
I can't wait. I cannot wait.
And maybe there's co-op. Who knows?
That's
Gives-
true. That's
gives
true.
me
Because
miles.
like, do you guys think like? I don't know. Like, I hope it is that. I hope they take everything Mary Jane related, take
get
that
it out of there.
and just
Get it
put
out.
Miles Morales. Like, I want just to be a spider person the entire
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
Like, I do not want to sneak around as a normal person. All right, let's get that clear.
Yeah. I could do that in real life, and I don't.
True. Yeah.
I choose not
Yeah,
to.
I could sneak around a bunch of like muggers and all that. Like, yeah, I can sneak around a museum at night if I want to.
Also, following the Spider-Man 2 hype, picking up that Armored Core 6, from Software, coming off the high of getting Game of the Year with Elden Ring in 2022. Not sure if this is going to be GOTY 2023, but I do believe it'll be at least a great game that people will enjoy. So definitely pick that up. In a similar vein, Diablo 4. This is continuing the long Blizzard franchise that a lot of people love. It's I think the origin of loot rarity. So like every game that does the whole colored, like white is common, blue is rare. Like Diablo started it. They're the king of loot. And so I believe
I didn't
that
know
people
that.
continue love looting in Diablo 4. Plus, I heard it's got a lot of positive previews based on journalist outlets that have gotten to preview it. So that's right on the high. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. Kevin Conroy's final performance as Batman. Not saying that's going to play into anything, but I'm really excited for it. Hopefully, this is the co-op Batman-averse or whatever you want to call it game that Gotham Knights really didn't live up to last year, that maybe this can make up for it. I'm excited to be Harley Quinn. I know Tiffany wants to be King Shark. That's her
I
favorite
really
character.
I do. I want to be Nanaue.
And
listen,
Matt,
I think like I guess I'll just pick up the pieces with whoever's left. I'll take them.
Is it Deadshot?
Captain? Yeah, I guess Deadshot. It's boring. What's the other guy? Is it Boomerang?
yeah, Captain Boomerang.
Yeah, I'll probably go with him. It's Rocksteady. Honestly, like Rocksteady is such a good pedigree. I think this is a great pick. As long as it comes out, and I think it will. Like, I think this is going to be a great game. Like, of course, I was hopeful with Gotham Knights. Like, I drafted it last year. It's one of my, walk of shame picks from last year. But Rocksteady, they've got the pedigree. I think they got the stuff. Everything that we've seen of this makes me more excited for it. So I think it's going to be great.
And just to quickly go over the rest, because these are big titles, and I just we're, like I said, we're aiming for 8s, and I feel like these are good 8s. Horizon Call of the Mountain, PSVR 2 launch title. Hopefully this will be the Half-Life Alyx equivalent for Sony's next generation VR hardware. So I'm hopeful for that. Wild Hearts. This is published by EA but developed by Koei Tecmo. Basically, if you can't get enough Monster Hunter, here's a Monster Hunter like. And so I'm definitely interested in it. Sea of Stars. This is a 2D pixel art RPG. Now, I'm going to be honest, I forgot the developers on this, but this is a game I first heard of a long time ago, and it's from well-known developers of like in the indie space. And so this is me continuing to believe in their pedigree, even though I can't remember the developers right now. Pikmin 4, it's Nintendo. You got to believe in it. And then Mina the Hollower, as I said, living up to the pedigree. Shovel Knight devs, shout out.
Yeah, I can actually see Pikmin 4 coming out this year, mainly because, we saw Miyamoto wear a shirt of it. So, I mean, he's not wearing a Metroid Prime shirt, is he, Matt? Like,
I wish he was.
yeah.
I wish he was.
Yeah.
And Miyamoto would not lie to us, so I believe.
Yeah. Pretty good team. I am envious that you picked up Wild Hearts.
That was a good pickup.
I heard good things about it, and to be honest, I forgot Spider-Man was supposed to come out this year. I'm gonna be real.
Really? Oh wow!
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I was tempted to pick Spider-Man because honestly, we'll get to this in a future episode about what we are most anticipated for, but it's got to be at the top of your list. Like, it's one of my favorite games on the PlayStation 4 and 5, technically, if you count them both. Great picks. I think Armored Core is a great pick as long as it comes out. I think that's kind of the biggest thing with your list is if all these hit, you've got a lot of bangers on this list. Like, this is a great list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just don't put the evil on me, Matt, please.
Don't say
that if
here's
they
the
come
thing.
out phrase.
I'm rooting for you because if you win, I win because I get to play all these games.
That's
so
Fair enough. We get to play the games
good.
together,
Exactly. I can go next
Okay.
if you want me to,
Yeah.
Tiffany.
That sounds good.
So I wanted the goal of this is I wanted games to actually release this year. And if they did, I
Great
wanted them
strategy.
to be, there's like no way that they're going to get negatives. Like they may get 70s. I'm okay with 70s. I'm not okay with negatives. That's the goal of 2023 for me. I started off with just like one following not just my heart, but following Alex's heart and going with Final Fantasy VI as my number one pick. I think they've got a solid
16.
release date. Sorry, did I say 6?
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 16. It comes out middle of June. I think that's a great time for it. I think it's going to hit well. I think it's going to be 90 plus. I think it's going to be a fantastic game. Resident Evil 4 Remake is Resident Evil 4 is one of the only Resident Evils I've actually played through. So I'm really excited for that game. It is such a cult classic. Everybody loves Resident Evil 4. Ever since Capcom has been releasing all these remakes of Resident Evil games, everybody has been just asking nonstop for Resident Evil 4. So I think there's a lot of hype with this, which is risky. Hype is risky, but I think it's well placed because I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be at least 80 plus.
And that's believing in the hype,
I am believing in hype. I always believe in the hype, but I especially believe in the hype. Street Fighter 6, that's my next pick. I think that fighting games, quality fighting games, review very, very well because they're generally reviewed by fighting game people. And Street Fighter 6, I know there's a couple people that I listened to that played the beta that had released at some point. Maybe it was an open alpha. I'm not sure what it was. But I heard really good things about it. They have like an adventure mode, which makes me even think I should play it because I'm not into the 1v1 fighting because I just don't have the skills to play these people, right? But in adventure mode, I could get behind that. Like maybe it'll review well. But I didn't even reveal what my studio name is. It's no longer Matman because we've had 2 lackluster years. We got second place the first year. We, bombed the second year, getting third place. I guess it's still bronze, but out of 3, you're not happy with that bronze medal.
Right.
So we had to rebrand, and we're all about Ted Lasso and believing in ourselves. So we are the Believe Studios, and it's all based on my next pick, which was Hollow Knight Silk Song for the 3rd year in a row. Ever since the beginning of RXP podcast, I have been drafting Silksong, waiting patiently for any sort of Nintendo Direct, any sort of Indie Direct, any sort of anything that has to do with Hollow Knight. Please release it. Please release it. Help it be this year. Phil Spencer said it would be in the next 6 months. So, hey, here it is. We're basically there. So it should come out tomorrow. So hopefully it does, because I would hate to see a 0. I have basically the rest of my list, and I'll run through these, not to be super long-winded. Wolong Fallen Dynasty, another Souls-like. Sifu developers, I think it's got a lot of really good lineage. Another beta that happened that a lot of people said was really, really well done. I am so excited for this. This is something I'm going to personally check out. Starfield, you know I'm about it. You know I'm about Bethesda, one of my favorite developers. I think it's actually going to come out. It was supposed to come out 11/11/2022 this past year.
Right.
Obviously, did not. But they said it should happen within the first half of 2023. So I think it will hit that. Even if it gets delayed, I think it would only get delayed to fall. But I hope that it looks a little bit better than the last footage that I saw. But we'll see. We'll see. And I think I'm excited for it. It should be good. And then the last 3, Dead Space Remake, one of my favorite games getting remade. I think it'll do a whole lot better than the Callisto Protocol, which I drafted last year, and it was really, really bad. My last 2, Atomic Heart, which looks really great, coming out soon, and Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl, which got delayed last year, and hopefully comes out in 2023. But liking my list, not gonna lie, liking my list.
Yeah, I'm actually really... Final Fantasy 16 was definitely on my list. So good on you for getting that basically as your
What
first.
about Final Fantasy 6?
It was on our list 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. But yeah, see, I'm still unsure of Hollow Knight Silksong coming out, but at the same time, I wasn't sure enough to counterpick it, which we'll all reveal our counterpicks after I go over my team. So
someone counterpicked it last year. Who counterpicked it last year? Or did no one do it?
Let's see.
Or maybe no one did, and they just never delayed it.
You're right. You're right, because I
counterpicked
it. I counterpicked it very first year, because I was like,
Gotcha.
that game ain't coming out. But last year they just never announced that it would be delayed, so you couldn't even drop it.
Did me dirty.
Yeah, because we had different rules about dropping last year, but we're a little bit more flexible this time around. So my publisher is still Nintendo. We were very pleased with our performance in 2022, and we believe with the right support and mentorship that 2023 will be another successful year for us. Of course, I had to go all in with our first draft of Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I am excited to play that game, and I'm sure it has to at least be a 90. I could see people saying that it's not really, iterating well on, the second one, or, it's more of the same, or, now with dungeons, or, still no dungeons, not great, whatever. I still think it's going to be at least in the 90s. So that's why I went all in with that. And then for my next 2 picks, I decided that I wanted to be inspired by my 2 co-hosts here. So Matt is the biggest Star Wars fan I know. So I then picked Star Wars Jedi Survivor because that has a release date. And then my next pick was Like a Dragon Ishin, which is inspired by Alex. So I know he really likes those games, the Like a Dragon games, the Yakuza games. And so this finally coming out. I know this is a remake. I think it's going to do well because people like Yakuza or Like a Dragon. Like a Dragon. So those are 2 games. And then the next 2 games were from my heart. I picked
mad about this next pick.
So I picked up this Plucky Squire, which looks super dope.
So good.
Yeah, it reminds me of Tinykin only because you're just a small person in a large world, I guess, or a normal sized world. But it's supposedly coming out in 2023, so I'm pretty excited about that. And then I picked Fire Emblem Engage. Now, Alex scoffed at me when I picked Fire Emblem Engage. It's coming out imminently. I have pre-ordered 2 copies of this game.
Absolute madness.
Wait, hold on.
Let me explain. I'm going to
explain. 2 copies?
Let me explain. So, audience, I need to play this game on release. I got the best deal for the special edition through Target, but Target doesn't do release day shipping. So I have bought it to pick up from a store that will remain unnamed. Once my Target version comes in, I'm returning my Target version to this unnamed store. Are you following me?
Wow.
Yep. I'm a devious person. But
Wow.
I will do it.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, I gotta do what I gotta do. So, Fire Emblem Engage. I'm super excited about it. Coming out soon.
I did not know that comes out literally
next week.
Within the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. By the time of recording, it's literally like a week away. So, I'm really excited for this one. Matt, do you think you're gonna get it on release, or do you still have to catch up on a lot of stuff?
Listen, we all know what I wanted to pick up, because I would have picked it up just out of my love for this game, which unfortunately the release window or the review window came up yesterday, which is One Piece Odyssey, which is getting a solid 76 on Open Critic.
Right.
I'm going to be playing that game until I finish it. And, it might take longer than a week, and that's okay.
That's fair. You're right. Okay. And then the last half of my team, I got Forza Motorsport because people love racing cars. And then Octopath Traveler 2.
They do such a good job.
Yeah, with the car racing. I mean, it looks
all those. Yeah, it's going to be great. That's a good pickup.
No Hot Wheels, though.
No
Are
Hot
we
Wheels.
Sure?
That's correct.
Are we sure?
Yeah,
those are only for
Horizon. Yeah, Horizon series.
Oh, okay. And then I picked out Octopath Traveler 2. I think that'll at least get me some 80s, I think the first one did pretty well, like 85, 86 or something. So I'm hoping that this one does around the same. And then I picked up 2 games that are really outside of my wheelhouse, Lies of P and Metal Slug Tactics. I picked up Lies of P because people love Souls games, and I saw a demo of this game at PAX West.
Yeah,
and so
we need to give some more table setting here, because yes, it's a Souls-like, but this is not from Software.
Yep.
This isn't official Souls-like. But the easiest way to understand this game, which is called Lies of P, is understand, listeners, if you're not aware, Pinocchio is in the public domain. So this is a Pinocchio-themed Souls-like experience. And take that what you will. I think the main gimmick is that there is decision making that affects your outcome. So whether or not you choose to lie actually does influence how the story unfolds and events that might happen to you. So I think that's the main draw of this, and the fact that it is set in this Victorian England era. So it's definitely an interesting time.
It's not Italy.
Time setting.
I mean, Pinocchio's an Italian.
Oh, is it
story.
Italy?
I mean, Pinocchio's Italian.
I think this is in England, but I'm
Oh.
not sure. It could be in Italy. It looks like, that era, they all look like England to me, ignorant American.
I guess my
Yeah.
only other question is is your nose going to extend when you're lying?
I don't think they have talked about that publicly, but if it does, that'd be cool. But I don't know if they're going that far into the Pinocchio route where your nose is growing.
Okay.
Because
And
also it's like Souls games, you rarely talk, if ever, so he could just keep his mouth shut and keep a normal nose.
No one knows but him.
No one knows.
Okay.
Hey.
Yeah. And then I picked up Metal Slug Tactics because I found out, or not that I found out, but I love tactics games. Or you know what? Let me reel that back. I love the idea of tactics games. I like very specific tactics games. But I've heard good things, so this is where we're at. So that's my team, and then we proceeded with counter picks. And this is where, the best strategy for counter picking a game is picking a game that you think will score poorly so that you can get points for yourself, or picking a game that you don't believe will be coming out this year so that no one gets hurt.
Yeah.
I counterpicked Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl, and this strategy that I decided to use to counterpick it was that I don't really know what this game's about. Last year I did the same strategies and it hurt me. It hurt me a lot. I lost a lot of points with that strategy. This year I decided YOLO. I'm doing the same thing. So I picked it because I really don't know what it's about, and I don't know that it will score well, and I don't know if it's actually going to come out this year since it was delayed once already. So that's that.
Like, I think that's a fine counter. Like, if it does not come out, I think that you made a great decision. And it might not, because, like, the Ukraine-Russian thing, that's a big reason why it got delayed, right?
Right.
And so, is there an end to that? Will it get delayed further? Maybe. Last month, they did release another hype trailer to get us all on board to keep the hype alive, saying that 2023 is going to happen. So I think it's going to hit. And honestly, I think Stalker, the first one, did fairly well. I can't remember exactly what it did on Metacritic or OpenCritic, but I think I have high hopes for it. Let's just say that.
Okay. That's totally fair. But then...
So my counterpick, this is tough, honestly. Like, I just told you all, I almost lost 30 points to my counterpicks last year. So This is obviously, listen, the person in charge of counterpicks and Matt Man did not get hired back to Believe Studios because we just had to go in a different direction, all right?
Yeah.
And under new management, under the counterpicks, they were still having a very difficult time. It's too soon to tell. They might get fired between now and next year.
Yeah.
Because they were thinking, what is going to happen? What's going to release? And if it does release, how much is it going to hurt? For me, I was thinking, okay, is Armored Core going to hit? Is Pikmin 4 going to hit?
Right.
And I ultimately went with Lies of P. And the reason why, and this is why, honestly, if I didn't have any emotion in this game, I would have picked Lies of P. But the problem is, Lies of P is my type of game. And Lies of P, even if it's a 7, I'm going to love that game. It's going to be fantastic. I think right now, Souls-like is kind of the hotness that a lot of games are trying to do. And not many of them do it super well. So I don't think it's going to be an Elden Ring. Like, unless you're From Software, I don't think you're going to have a 9 out of 10, even an 8.5 out of 10. So I think it's a safe pick. I think it will probably come out. You saw a demo at PAX West last year. Yeah. I think it will come out. I just hope it's like a middle 75. Honestly, me personally, I hope it's at least an 8 because I want to play it. Right. But I guess it'll hurt me, But hey, the thing is, we have 27 games that we drafted. I can only pick from 18 of them. And honestly, out of the 18, you guys did super well. Like, all these games are awesome. So it's a tough decision, but I went with Lies of P.
Yeah, going off of Matt's final point there, this was just a pure mitigation strategy for me. I counterpicked Metal-Select Tactics. I just think this will be the lowest scoring out of all the games my competitors here drafted. And so this was just saying, listen, I want to lose the least amount of points possible. I'm pretty sure this is going to get above a 70, but at least it'll be hopefully in the single digits. So I won't lose too many points. So that was the whole goal. I believe in it. I too love tactics games. I also do enjoy Metal Slug, right? As the 2D shoot 'em up it is. Who doesn't enjoy that type of gameplay? So hopefully it's not too amazing, but then at the same time, I hope it is amazing for the people that want to enjoy it. So we're in that split scenario right there.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't want any of these to score badly, but
yeah, exactly.
For the game, I mean, this little fun activity that we do throughout the year, I really enjoy seeing the game announcements and stuff, talking to guys about it, and then immediately not talking to you guys about Fantasy League because then I'm hoping that you're not going to pick up the game. It's like this weird mind game that we play with each other. But anyway, so
you're
definitely
secretly super hyped for a game, but you're like, I don't want to let them know. They cannot know.
Until
they will bet more than I will.
Yeah, I was like, wait for a week after the announcement so that I can get my bid through. But anyway, definitely follow along. I'm gonna put links down below. But fantasycritic.games, super cool, super fun activity. Now I think we're gonna swap over to the second topic of the show.
Two topics
right here. 2 topics in one. You all are so lucky. Listen up, everybody, because guess what? Game Awards happened. You guys watched it, maybe. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you didn't even listen to our episode. We projected what we thought was going to win some of these categories. I think we looked at 12 categories.
That sounds about right.
Maybe 11. I don't know. I was kind of really fast because I realized it was just like dead air, which is great podcast material. So went back, listened to our podcast, got what we picked, and I tabulated, and we do have a winner. Close. It was very close. Very close. So let's just go through. So best adaptation. We all three picked Arcane, which was the winner.
Heck
Well done. Well done. For most anticipated game, Alex and Tiffany picked Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and I went off on a limb and said Hogwarts Legacy. Well, guess what? I was wrong. It was Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So both of you got another point. Going to best family game, this is a complete split. Alex went Splatoon 3. I went Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Tiffany went Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope, and it was Kirby and the Forgotten Land. So I got a little catch up to you all.
Yeah.
Best role-playing game, Alex and I went with Elden Ring, and Tiffany went with Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and it was Elden Ring. Let's see. Best action adventure game. We all picked it. God of War Ragnarok, of course. Going to be the winner, of course. Best action game. Listen, Tiffany and I went with Sifu, which is obviously the answer, right? No, it wasn't. Bayonetta 3. Like Alex said, I think Alex said something about people and ulterior motives to picking that. But he got it right. Listen, it was Bayonetta 3.
Whoa, don't make it too shady. I don't want this shade being thrown.
Listen, it gives intrigue. Maybe they'll go back and listen to it. Maybe
the
they
episode.
Oh, fair enough. Just know, listener, I was right.
He was right. Best debut indie game. I went with Stray. You both went with Tunic, and it was Stray. Big night for Stray, right? Because Stray actually won Best Independent Game. So it won Best Debut Indie Game and Best Independent Game.
That's wild.
Heck?
That's wild.
And none of us picked Stray for Best Independent Game. Alex went with Sifu. We were led astray. And then Tiffany and I went with Cult of the Lamb. Best Art Direction. Tiffany went with Stray. Alex went with Horizon Forbidden West, and I went with the Elden Ring. And Elden Ring took the mantle home for Best Art Direction. Best Narrative. This is, easy. Another easy one for us. God of War Ragnarok. We all three got it, which was great. Best Game Direction. We all three got it. We got it with Elden Ring. And then Game of the Year. Tiffany went with God of War Ragnarok, following her art.
I did.
But alas, it was Elden Ring. Alex and I guessed it right. So the final point total, Tiffany got 5 points, Alex got 8, and I got 9. So well done, everybody. That was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Dang, yeah, Matt, you know the voice of the people,
Obviously not. Listen, let's go back to the first half of this show where I got third place.
Okay, that's fair. Well,
right, but Matt, predicting the future, you need to go buy some lotto tickets now.
There we go. Yeah.
I do have to say though, Matt, I think it's more like you're the people's people. Like, Open Critic is like the hoity-toity reviewers. You know what I mean?
And that's not me. That's not me. Yeah.
Down to earth.
I'm happy with my 7.5.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I guess so. So. Yeah. But that was fun. I'm glad we actually tabulated it.
Yeah.
This year because we've never tabbed it in the past.
I do have to say one comment though. Like I ended up playing through Stray and like finishing it after the Game Awards to really see what all the hubbub was about. I deleted that game so fast after I finished the story, man. Like, I was really kind of bummed by it.
Really?
Yeah.
I still haven't played it.
I think it's worth a playthrough, but I think I was a little bit too uneasy throughout the entire game because I really did not like the weird, like, I don't know what to call them. They're not like the villains. the villains of it, but like the weird monsters that like attack you and stuff. Yeah, the ambiance was a little bit too spooky, a little bit on edge. It was very melancholy. Like it just,
Gotcha.
yeah, it was just gloomy. But I did like being a cat, but not enough. I don't know what the
Honestly,
hype was
Stray was one of like the most winningest indie games there. Like it was definitely
Yeah.
the most winningest indie game, but it won so many categories I did not expect it to.
about. Yeah, I would
Crazy.
agree.
I still need to play it. It's on PS Plus Extra, I guess.
Yeah,
Alex, did you
that's
play
how
it
we
too,
played.
or?
That's how I played.
No, it's
you
on
both
the
played it.
to-do list. I think
Got it.
definitely it. Even though Tiffany was kind of down on it, I'm looking back on especially things that were at the Game Awards, and definitely there's a lot of things I just want to check out. Make sure that I'm, I guess, keeping up with it. I know it's basically right now Stray, Sifu's definitely on the list, Matt. It's high on your list. And I still hear people talk about it, even for a lot of individual outlets. I know it's getting high praises there. And also, I am interested in checking out Immortality because I've been hearing that get a lot of buzz, and that being definitely very different from a lot of other games I typically play because it's more of a like mystery FMV, so full motion video game, and so I'm intrigued by what that entails. So definitely those three are on my to-do list at some point in 2023.
Is Immortality on PlayStation or is it Steam only?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think it actually might be a part of Netflix. So it might be
Oh,
wow.
something like
That's weird.
you can just stream like that. So
Oh,
I'll
okay.
need to look around. I haven't looked into it, but definitely it's something I want to play at some point this year.
Cool.
wow. Okay, well, that was our little bite-sized episode. Be prepared for what honestly I'm most excited about. Our next episode is going to be about our top 6 most anticipated experiences of 2023. I'm super excited for that. But I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you to Grandmaster Doug for the sweet tunes. If you would like to like and subscribe, we'd really appreciate it here on YouTube or on Twitter. Or if you want to email us, because email is still a thing, you can write us at rxp.podcast@gmail.com. And then our Twitter is rxp_podcast. And we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.
And Miyamoto would not lie to us, so I believe.